Look, let me ask you a question, leaders. Have you ever had to lead while your own heart was bleeding? Leading while bleeding. I know you look good, you smell good, you're talking good, but deep down on the inside, you're dealing with your own private war that no one sees. Look, do y'all remember the movie Glory? You know, the one with Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington. If you do, then you probably know what I'm about to say, because there's a famous line in the movie that tends to punch leadership right in the mouth. And Morgan Freeman said, I want them to know that we went down standing up. Not we survived, not we played it safe, not we blended in, but we went down standing up. Listen, if you're a leader building a high performing team, that line isn't just drama, it's a leadership standard. If I go down, I'm going down standing up. Glory tells the story of the 54. Y'all remember the 54th Massachusetts, one of the first official black regiments in the Union Army, led by, I believe his name was Robert Shaw. They were fighting the Confederacy, y'all. It was ugly back then. Not only were they fighting the Confederacy, but they were fighting prejudice within their own army. Not to mention that they were questioning themselves, do we even belong here? Y'all remember Trip? Denzel Washington, that raw pain and that fire. Then you had Morgan Freeman, Brother Rawlins, the steady, dignified, and grounded man. Then you had the young leader, Shaw, who had to learn the cost of leading people through hell in real time. The story then builds toward the assault on Fort Wagner. And before the battle, Rawlins had the opportunity to pray over his man. And he said this, and I'm going to paraphrase just for flow, but he said, I want you to let our folks know that we died facing the enemy, that we went down standing up. He didn't promise victory. What he did, he anchored identity. Now that's leadership, because high performing teams aren't built on comfort. They're built on, yeah, you got it, conviction. And every leader eventually hits that moment. You know, that moment where you cannot guarantee the win, but you can certainly guarantee the posture. That's what I call leading while bleeding. That's when you don't just lead from your mood, you lead from the mission. And come here for a minute. Let me, if you don't mind, let me team whisper you for just a second here. Look, the team doesn't only follow your instructions, they follow your emotional posture. If you crumble, they panic. If you shrink, they hesitate. If you perform strength, but you leak fear, they feel it anyway. Gallup reported that only about a third of U.S. employees are engaged. And their meta-analysis shows highly engaged teams see higher productivity, less absenteeism, and lower turnover. Let me translate. Let me make it plain for you. If your leadership posture creates fear, disengagement rises. And when disengagement rises, performance begins to bleed out. So the real question isn't just, are we executing? It's this: what emotional climate is my leadership creating? Rawlins didn't manufacture false confidence, folks. He created anchored courage. Now let's talk about psychological safety for a moment. Look, some leaders hear that phrase and think, I get it, Mike, so nobody's getting their feelings hurt. That's not what I said. Psychological safety is the absence of interpersonal fear. It's when people can tell the truth, raise risk, admit mistakes, and challenge ideas without punishment. Google's Project Aristotle elevated psychological safety as one of the strongest predictors of high-performing teams. And when people don't feel safe to speak up, guess what? You got it. Silence happens. And silence is quite expensive, because silence is not peace. Silence is just problems getting interest. Listen, on real teams, someone is triggered. Someone else is tired. Someone is trying. But here it is. Everyone is watching. High-performing teams require permission candor, truth without punishment, because silence accrues interest. But truth, now it pays dividends. Listen, there's another tension in Glory, and it's discipline. You see, Shaw has to train the men who are being treated less than and turn them into a unit that cannot afford this type of chaos. And here's what leaders often miss. Discipline without dignity becomes domination. Discipline without dignity becomes domination. Dignity without discipline becomes disorder. Rawlins' prayer wasn't dignity. The training was discipline. That's why standing up hits so hard, because standing up is the posture. Standing up is the formation. Standing up is identity. Great leaders don't just manage tasks. They shape identity. Now let's bring this home. Let's bring this home. Because this isn't about the movie, and it's not movie trivia. It's about the hidden assignment of leadership. You see, sometimes you're bleeding, but you still have to stand up. You might even be grieving, burnt out, even overwhelmed, or, carrying the pressures of the family, carrying the pressure of the business, carrying the weight of everyone else's expectation. And the meeting still starts in 10 minutes. So what do? Let me give you three anchors. The first anchor, name the mission. Even if you can't name the pain publicly, your team needs clarity more than charisma. Here's number two. Borrow strength from structure. When emotions are unstable, systems keep you standing. Here's number three. Choose your standing up behaviors. No, not vibes or motivation, but behaviors. Tell the truth early. Keep standards clear. Protect your people from chaos. Reward candor, truth-telling. Don't disappear emotionally. So here it is. Let me give you a leadership checklist. When opposition hits, ask yourself this. What does standing up look like in my communication this week? Where do I need to hold the line? Who on my team is silently bleeding and needs stability from me? What truth are we avoiding that's costing us trust? What would courage look like in the next 24 hours? The goal is not to be fearless. The goal is to be faithful to the mission, even if your knees are shaking. That's leadership. Rawlins didn't say we won't go down. He said if we go down, make sure they know we went down with the posture of standing up. So let me ask you, where have you been shrinking when it's time for you to be standing? If you're building culture, if you're leading a team, if you're responsible for performance, that actually lasts. Type this somewhere where you can see it. Type it in the comments. I'm standing up. If you want the frameworks I use to build psychological safety, permission candor, and true team alignment, go to Mumford Consulting and get my toolkit. Because high-performing teams don't rise by accident. They rise because a leader decided, if I go down, I'm going down standing up.